I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I am a medical doctor. These 40 years I've been a medical doctor. I'm a social scientist. I have a master's degree in public admin. The result I made at the Delta State University between the age bracket of 56 to 58, I don't think any person has broken it. So when I talk from a perspective of age, experience, education, exposure. I want to talk about DELE FAROTIMI and the Roger Bannister effect vis-a-vis the coming social change in Nigeria and Africa. Roger Bannister was born on the 23rd of March, 1929. He died on the 3rd of March, 2018. He was 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed 70 kilograms when he became a full-grown adult. For many years, no person could run 1 mile under 4 minutes. In fact, scientists believe that the lung capacity of a man will not allow him run a mile under 4 minutes. Inside your lungs, you have 70 square meters of surface area, nearly the size of 1 or 2 lawn tennis courts. It is compressed here with your heart inside your thoracic cavity to give you enough blood and oxygen to achieve things. In fact, they used animals to pursue people, whether they could run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And that situation remained normal for a very long time. Newton's law of motion can also be applied to sociological development or change. One of Newton's laws of motion states that everything remains in a state of rest or permanent motion until a force is applied. I prefer that definition to the one that says an external force. Internal implosion can cause a change in the dynamics of an object, can break inertia. And so, Roger Bannister was a medical doctor, a junior medical doctor, and he decided to attempt the 4-minute mile record to break it after his performance in 1952 in Helsinki, Finland. And so that day, on the 6th of May, 1954, Roger Bannister ran with 3 of his colleagues who were prompting him on. And when the announcer said the time is 3 minutes, the whole athletics field burst into an uproar. They couldn't hear the remaining part of the time. But the real time was 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. Only 0.6 seconds different. And he broke the world record. And that record only lasted 46 days. And another person broke it. What had stayed for years, that had not been broken for years. Immediately, Roger Bannister broke that record on the 6th of May, 1954. 46 days later, before the end of the year, somebody else broke that record. And during the 70th anniversary of that milestone, 4 people who broke that record were present in the field to watch the anniversary of breaking that record. And that day, 4 people ran and broke the 4-minute record. And that record stayed for years. No person could break it. Roger Bannister broke it. 46 days later, another person broke it. And they kept breaking that record. 4 record holders sat in a field to commemorate the 70th anniversary. And that day, 4 other individuals broke that record. I talked about the sardines and the sharks. Roger Bannister broke that record with the help and collaboration of his friends, Chris Chataway and Chris Bradshaw. One was running beside him, one was in front of him, and he was pursuing them. So it was a collaborative effort of one language, one speech. We will break this record. We will break this record. And they broke that record. If you notice, when nations wanted to gain independence, it was after the Second World War, 1945, when, is it 45? Yes, I think I'm correct. 1945, I think Hiroshima and Nagasaki was 1945. Now, those Africans and even Asians that were conscripted into the Allied forces, when they saw that the people who colonized them were not as strong as they were, that the people who colonized them also cried during the war, that they also died, and the canopy of the fear of the colonial masters was shredded, and the eyes of the people who were colonized were opened, and they went back home after they went to Burma, went to several places, and saw the development of those places. Not as it is now. They came back home and said, we will gain our independence. So Ghana, 1957, I don't know when India gained their own. I think India is 1947. And Bangladesh, Pakistan broke from India, Bangladesh from Pakistan, Ghana, and that's how nations started getting independence. So you see, between 1947 or 57, several nations gained independence. I call it the Roger Bannister effect. Once one person breaks the glass ceiling, every other person sees that it is possible, and then they break ceiling. That's why Elijah told Elisha, if you can see me being taken off, then you can receive the double portion. And the mantle dropped. And because Elisha saw Elijah use that mantle to flog the river Jordan, and it separated, he carried the mantle, got to the river Jordan. He said, where now is the God of Elijah? Bam! The water separated. Those critics, those commentators in Bethel, in Gilgal, in Jericho, that were in the prophetic Bible schools there, were amazed when they saw Elisha cross the river Jordan. And then they said they were going to look for Elijah. Elisha said, don't bother. And you see, they went, they didn't see. A change had come. And a new ministry started. So when perception leads to conception, and conception leads to delivery. When the baby is to be born, the mother becomes restless, and you can't restrain the birth of a new nation, of a new society. Sometimes blood is shed, water will burst out, there will be screaming, there will be pain, but a new nation is born. It's the same thing with development. The Japanese, after the Second World War, the South Koreans followed in their development trends, the Taiwanese, and so the Asian tigers emerged as an economic bloc. What has happened is that DELE FAROTIMI has written a book that has shaken the foundation of Nigerian judiciary. And as I've been saying, more revelations are going to come up in this case. And I'm going to do a video after this one. What are we fighting for? Let me tell you something. When somebody jumped over the Third Mainland Bridge into the lagoon, several people started jumping from the Third Mainland Bridge into the lagoon. I don't encourage that. Well, let me tell you, people are going to write more books. Even DELE FAROTIMI is going to write another book. Mark what I'm saying. He's going to write another book, The Travails of DELE FAROTIMI, and new things are going to come. Others are going to write about the police force. People are going to write about INEC. A book is going to come out about the last presidential election. Books are going to come out about NNPC. Books are going to come out about the Nigerian army. Several books are going to come. How many people then go carry go Adoekiti? How many people then go carry go court? How many people then go handcuff? How many people then go in prison? How many people then go jail? 200 million Nigerians. There's a young girl that did a video about Hausa Fulani relationship. No person ever thought that somebody from the north will challenge what has been over the years. But not even a man, a girl has challenged the Hausas. The Middle Belt has woken up to a new reality. And that is what is going to happen in this country. I'm not the one calling for it. I'm just saying that it is a reality of the Roger Bannister effect. It broke the world record. People now knew it was possible and they started breaking world records. The Arab Spring started from, I think, Tunisia, and it went round, entered Syria. Seems as if Bashar al-Assad had overcome them. But it was still there. And in a lightning speed, those people took over. We don't know what is going to happen there. I'm scared. It went to Bahrain. It did not succeed. It has not been quenched in Bahrain. How can only a few people own 75% of the coastal area of Bahrain? Just like the Alawite minority were ruling in Syria until very recently. The world is in a VUCA state. And somebody predicted this years back. This trainer, I can't remember his name now. VUCA is V-U-C-A. It's an acronym for volatile, U, uncertain, C, complex, like the situation in Syria and the Middle East, A, ambiguous. We're entering an era of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's going to come so fast, so rapidly, so sequential, that it will shock people. I want to be on the good side of history. You might not like what I'm saying, but I beg of you, when you hear an information, internalize it, personalize it, internalize it, analyze it, then see if it concerns you to actualize it. If it does not concern you, make sure the actualization does not catch you unawares. I want to beg whoever is in leadership position in Africa, a tide is coming. One Aisha Yusufu will stand in Nigeria. One very dark man will stand in Nigeria. DELE FAROTIMI will stand in Nigeria. Several people will stand in Nigeria. Malema will stand in South Africa. And then you will see them in different nations of Africa. And all over the world, a change is coming. What is prompting the change? When you push a people too far and too hard, and you compress them too much, they don't care what happens to them if they attempt to free themselves. In Africa, our people have been pushed too far, too hard, for too long. Mark what I am saying. I'm writing down history in video form. I was to do the post on the trend that will happen of harassment and tyranny in Nigeria. I didn't do it. I said, let them not call me a false prophet. I'm just being predictive based on my understanding of social change. At the same time, development is also like that. In sociology, there's a development theory called the flying geese theory of development. When geese fly, they fly in a formation. They believe that when development takes place in one nation, it drips from the wings of one geese or goose to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So you see Japan electronics, South Korea electronics, Taiwan electronics, even Indonesia and the nearby nations, they are producing electronics and they are developing. Development is going to come to Africa. Change is going to come to Africa. Just like those people who made mockery of Elisha in relationship with Elijah, you will be there. You won't be part of the change. I have a limited time here on earth. If you add 25 years to my age, I will be 90. Add 15, I will be 80. My voice might not be as strong as this. So I am under intellectual constipation to bring out what God is putting in my heart as quickly as possible, and to alert the generation, my children and my children's children's generation, that the future of Africa belongs to them. And it requires an attitudinal change to achieve an altitudinal change, because research has shown that aptitude contributes only 25%. Attitude contributes 75% to the altitude you will reach. When I watch the marathon races, when all the Caucasians are lying on the floor, the Ethiopian is standing. Ethiopian is standing. A nation that was not colonized, that defeated Italy in the Battle of Adwa. Menelik's time, Prince Queen Teitu went to war. Queen Nzagi in Luanda sat on top of a man to address the colonial master in Portuguese. She was a warrior and was undefeated for many years. That's the stock we are made of. Our ancestors built the pyramids. When the colonial masters reached Benin, they compared Benin to Amsterdam because there were street lights in Benin before the colonial masters, and the streets were planned. The Benin moat is the biggest structure ever constructed by human beings. Bigger than the Great Wall of China. How can we in this generation, let our ancestors and our future generation down? I refuse to be part of that group that will destroy this color and who will represent. A move is coming. Better be part of it. I am Dr. Charles Apoki. I have a webinar coming up on the 10th and on the 11th of January. My real mission is to raise 1 million African entrepreneurs and leaders through what I am doing. In the last webinar we had on the 6th and on the 7th, we had people from all over the world, all the continents of the world. And you can be part of this great move. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. And I have properties for sale. Send a message to that same number. We're opening a totally new city where people from the diaspora will reside. It will take some time, but it will happen. Dr. Charles Apoki, the area grandfather, is my name. God bless the new Africa.